This week's episode has been sponsored by Oh My Bod, shifting the evolution of pleasure. Hi, this is Suzanne, and you're listening to Sex Advice for Seniors. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you may know that I have something of an issue around how many orgasms a person is capable of having. My view being that there's one main one, and then there's a lot of other ones that feel good, but I don't know necessarily constitute for me what is the kind of big one, which is my sort of like clitoral orgasm. But I know that lots of people have opinions on this, lots of people. And I've had lots of really interesting conversations with people working in Tantra, primarily, who have told me about cervical orgasms and G-spot orgasms and full body orgasms. But my guest today is a guy called Steve Bodansky, and he's pretty much made his reputation from looking at his website by writing in many, many books around what he calls extended massive orgasm. And I just want to get my teeth into this one. So welcome, Steve, to Sex Advice for Seniors.
Yeah, I don't think there's any limit of orgasms. I mean, when I was a kid, I was kind of a crybaby, and my mom said, if you keep crying now, you're going to run out of tears. So I didn't cry after that. So, but then I found out that wasn't true. So maybe the same thing with orgasms. I think there's an unlimited amount.
But what you specialize in is this thing that the acronym EMO. That's right?
I can tell you how it started.
Yeah, I want to know, Steve. Go for it.
So anyhow, my wife, we both lived in this commune in California, and they taught courses on sensuality and extended orgasms. But they didn't call it that. They just called it orgasm.
Yeah.
Or the fundamentals course. And they did demonstration where you had to study for a while in order to pass it. And you had to be able to perform this in front of people for an hour.
Wow.
Okay. And Vera saw that in 1976.
Wow.
She said, I want to learn how to do that. So she took courses, and by the time I arrived in 1979, I was like one of her favorite practice persons. She's married, but she needed a lot of practice persons back then, because guys' arms can get tired. So it's all manual stimulation. I mean, you can have it other ways, but manual stimulation is the most efficient way to do it. So anyhow, she became certified with her husband, and then he passed away, and we got married a few years later, and I also became certified. So we did demonstrations together, and then we left the commune, and we went on. Actually, we started another group in San Francisco, and we taught 5 other people this technique, and we taught courses like that. So it still wasn't called extended massive orgasm yet. It was just, I think we called it the OIC course, observation of intense coming.
Yeah, I think extended massive orgasm is better, frankly.
Yeah. So we broke up with them, and then we created a video, and we called it the demo. And the demo was an acronym for a demonstration of an extended massive orgasm. It could have been elongated, or it could have been, multi, or or the orgasm. The O is still going to be there. And then I wrote a book about how to pleasure a woman, basically. Also, some about pleasuring men too, but mostly about pleasuring women. That's my expertise, and that was my wife's expertise. We were a good combination. And so we submitted to the first publisher, and they liked the book, but they wanted, I'd call it The Art of Sensuality. That's my title. And then they saw that we taught this course called the Extended Massive Orgasm Demonstration of an Extent. They said, let's call the book this. So I said, whatever you want. I'd never written a book before.
Yeah.
And So it might be scared a few people off, but I think it attracted a bunch of people too for that name. Anyhow, we got a lot of publicity at the same time because we were talking to some women's group in New York, some elite women, but powerful women back then. This is like 1999, I think, or 98 maybe. As before the book came out, and she wanted to put it in the New Yorker magazine, the article, but they kept saying, well, it's a little too racy for us. So finally, there's a magazine called Talk Magazine. I think Tina Brown started.
Oh, yeah.
I think it lasted 2 years, but it was a great magazine, and they accepted her article about a year later.
Yeah.
And our book came out at the same time the article came out. I think it was called The 1 Hour Orgasm, or pictures of Vera, an orgasm. They sent like a photographer over.
Oh, did they? Did they have to put little circles over the areas of the body that people?
Well, they didn't show her face. I think they didn't show the genitals.
Oh, okay.
So, anyhow, the book was a big hit because of that, because of publicity. And they wanted to write a second book, and we called it I didn't know what to write. I said, I read everything that I know in this one book,
Yeah.
So come up with something. So I said, how about questions and answers? We can do that. I mean, I'm good with, I like that. So, well, that's good, maybe part of the book. So I said, how about the illustrated? We'll do illustrations. So we took a whole bunch of photographs, and then we found this really good artist, and he drew from the photographs, and he made. So I describe it, and also,
Oh, right, a bit like The Joy of Sex kind of thing. Well, illustrations wise.
Yeah, you see some pictures in the background.
Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, they have a kind of Joy of Sex vibe to them. And can I ask, because obviously you've been doing this for a significant period of time,
forever, yeah.
And how old are you at the moment?
Let me see. I'm 76. I'll be 77 in February.
Oh, cool. So obviously you and your wife have been practicing this for a long time. And I'm curious to know if...
She passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, did she? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It wasn't an orgasm, but she got dementia or Alzheimer's. I wrote a couple of books about that too. Because I was an author, and I started writing. So I've written all kinds of books, novels and poetry books and memoirs. But anyhow,
before she got dementia, and when she was clearly an older woman, was the technique something that she was still able to achieve this incredible orgasm?
Yeah, she was doing demonstrations until the mid 2000s probably, and then we still did personal sessions, and I would demonstrate on her for the clients, and with my hands.
So you didn't see a change in her in her ability to get aroused and in her ability to have the same quality of orgasms as she'd had when you were clearly much younger. That they didn't change.
I mean, each orgasm is different, but I don't say it changed a whole lot until probably the last 3 years.
Yeah,
and then I think you kind of digress with your age when you have Alzheimer's. So she's like a baby. She's more like my baby, and but I still like when I kissed her. She can get off really. She was like so conditioned to getting off.
Yeah,
I kissed her or I hug her. I could feel her having throbbing in her genital area. I could feel the contraction.
Wow.
But I didn't take her pants off.
No.
Maybe 2 years, for the last couple of years.
Yeah. And so you say that it's just manual, and I read that.
It's not just manual, but that's what we demonstrate.
Yeah. And how, so I've had what I would describe as tremors throughout my entire body when I'm having what is clearly a clitoral orgasm. Like afterwards, there's quite a lot of tremors. Doesn't last for an hour, but
that's practice.
It lasts for some significant period of time. How does how would you say, and you mentioned as well, I should get to this second really, but how does the orgasm differ from what we would consider to be like a clitoral orgasm? Do you still get that rush?
No, I would say it is a clitoral. It is a
Oh, it
clitoral.
is.
Yeah. I mean, you have to learn how to pleasure the clitoris. That's the basis, really.
So would you say it's similar to what some people in Tantra call riding the wave?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I've called it that. About riding the wave, but like, yes, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a surfer. I've compared it to being, somebody surfing.
Yeah. So it's a kind of feels, I'm just trying to get a sense here of like, you know, putting those three words together, extended massive orgasm. I'm just trying to understand, like, for people who are listening, what would they expect to feel with this?
Well, a lot of people, a lot of women, I'm going to say, imitate men, and men kind of tense up and tense up and tense up and harder and faster, and they squirt, and it's all over.
Yeah.
And a lot of women imitate that.
Yeah.
So they tense their bodies up, and they're not relaxed.
Yeah.
And in order to have this extended orgasm, you have to have it relaxed, and you have to just put all your attention to feeling.
Yeah.
Just like like in Star Trek, the power of the shields. So you want to no shields at all. Relax.
Yeah. So there's no force fields, is what you're saying. There's no force fields. It's just.
And the person who's doing it can be a woman or a man pleasuring them, because using hands. You don't need a penis for this.
Yeah.
And they have to control. And what they do is what we call peaking.
Yeah. So I would say that's like edging.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you bring somebody to a certain point, and before they start going down, you deliberately bring them down by either changing the stroke or stopping touching them.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you take control. So the person who's doing it wants to be in control, and the person receiving wants to surrender to pleasure.
Mm.
And if both people are playing their roles right, then you can have a whole lot more fun than if everybody's not knowing what their role is. And and once you get that going, then you can add the other stuff in too.
Yeah. So what I'm getting a sense of is it's look, different modalities use different words, I think, to describe very similar.
Probably. Yeah, I'm just not familiar with those
types of feelings. So, like in the kink community, they say edging. In the Tantra community, they say riding the wave. Right. And you call it extended massive orgasm. Peaking, and you call it peaking. And I get that, because I have to say that I was capable of doing that with a person that had experience when I was in my 40s, but I'm not certain I would be able to do that now with the lack of estrogen and all the other stuff that goes on, just because my sensitivity is not the same as it was back then. And there is a relation between
self-pleasure.
Yeah, but only with a vibrator, really.
But that'll also detract from your ability to feel with the hand.
Yeah, but it's true that as we age, the larger nerves start to deteriorate, and
I don't know with
the smaller nerves. And
with Vera, I don't think it deteriorated. And she was into her 80s, and she's still getting off like a banshee.
Yeah.
And we taught women who were in their 70s, 60s, even some people in their 80s too, probably low 80s.
Yeah. And you say that it's more common.
Once you're 90, forget it.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think I spoke to a woman, a sex therapist, a few weeks ago, who's in her 80s, and she said that sex changed for her between 80 and 84. So I thought, she said it was much different than in her 70s, and I thought that was interesting that she noticed even in those later years that there was
Yeah.
still differences in quality
How did
attained.
it change? Did it get less intense or more intense?
Well, her partner was, less able to have penetrative sex.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they did different kinds of things. So the type of sex that they had changed. The quality of her orgasm, she said, didn't really change, but the type of sex they had changed. But you said that this is primarily something that's done for women.
Well, no, I mean,
Can
men
men
do
do
it
this as
too.
well? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote a book fairly recently called Self Pleasure. And I describe a woman self pleasuring and a man self pleasuring, plus a lot of biological stuff and a lot of psychology and philosophy. It's quite interesting. But started off that I was going to write about just the orgasm and, and how to do that to yourself. But the book developed into this philosophical book. So I think it's pretty interesting, a lot of Buddhism and what the self really is, is there a self to self pleasure?
Oh, interesting. And so with men, it's because men have been doing edging for, like, it's a fairly common thing. Well, I don't know,
Mm.
it's common, but it's I know lots of men who enjoy edging,
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah, so men can have extended orgasms too with that technique.
yeah,
Also, and a woman also can turn on just by putting attention on her genitals. Like you can sit there right now, kind of spread your legs open and just feel the air, and just the more you put the attention there, you can actually feel some pleasure there. And
sure,
that's like the beginning of an orgasm. If you the more you can do that, and the more you do that, the more you practice that, the better you become at it. And also, I had the thought that as far as intercourse, it's very important to get a woman engorged and turned on and orgasmic before you stick it in if you're a guy.
sure,
Because but a lot of guys will just want to go stick it in as soon as they get hard. You
yeah,
got to wait until you get her up, to a place where she really wants it and really desires it. Then it's cool, and then she'll feel a whole lot more. Actually, your clitoris moves a lot. Once you come engorged, your clitoris moves a lot closer to your introitus, your opening. So it's a way of having. Some women don't have orgasms with intercourse, but if they practiced, our techniques, then they will have a better possibility of having, coital orgasms too.
sure. And you mentioned that when you met your wife, she was married to somebody else, and you were a practice partner. For
Yeah,
me, it's quite important, and I think for lots of women actually, that the mind and the body are working together. So I it's hard for me to have somebody that I'm not attracted to, or that I don't have any
but she's
relation.
attracted.
She was, yeah. So, but did she have practice partners that she wasn't attracted to? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So she viewed it as
yeah.
like
The
something.
guru, the guy who taught us, the guru of the place, he told her like you should be able to get off even if your orangutan was doing you.
Yeah. See, I struggle with that because I think that for women, a lot of what goes on with our bodies is so connected to what goes on in our mind.
But you don't need it. You don't need extra partners. This was a lifestyle that we were living at the time,
Sure.
and a lot of our clients, I don't even. I'll just show the guy how to pleasure his wife or his girlfriend, and I don't even touch her because
Oh,
I don't get, if
yeah.
they have barriers. I don't want to get, that's fine, and they
Yeah.
can learn that way, you know. And I think a lot of it has to do with self pleasuring too. The more you can self pleasure with your own hand,
Yeah.
and find out what kind of strokes you really like, and try different experiment around and learn how your body really reacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said that also, that the thing about this technique is that you can, it's almost from the first minute, you can have some kind of orgasm.
Yeah, like
What did you mean by that?
well, we have a video, and you can see that it's in front of a class, and I kind of spread Vera's labia, and you can see that she's having contractions, and she's wet down there, before even touching. She wasn't touching herself, and nobody was backstage doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So,
didn't do some
we
backstage
actually, the
prep.
third book we wrote was called Instant Orgasm, and it gives you techniques on how to like start, from the get go. Because I think in order to have this extended orgasm, it's really important to be able to feel as soon as you can, not have to warm up, for 20 minutes,
And so, for so many people, women primarily, it's very difficult to have any kind of orgasm, much less an extended one.
Well,
How many people do the people that come to you, are these people that are primarily already orgasmic and are looking to enhance their sex life by taking that further? Like what is the motivation for somebody coming to see you?
right, that's a good question. You get all kinds. Some people are really new to it,
Mm,
or they never had orgasms, or that they think they never had an orgasm.
yeah,
But our preference is actually find somebody's really good already, and take them to the next level.
right.
But right now, I have a woman who helps me out since Vera passed away, but I don't see as many clients as we used to. I mean, we used to go to New York, and we had, I don't know if you know Mama Gina.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's put these courses on for us where we, and then we do a course, and then she had students, so we do 10, 12 students a day,
right.
couples, so, they're all different kinds. So
Yeah.
some people everybody's clitoris is different, everybody's genitals are different, so everybody's a little bit different. So you gotta experiment and
It sounds like a really tough job, Steve, I have to
I
say.
know. I was thinking of retiring, but I don't know.
Yeah, and speaking of which, my audience is primarily people in their 50s and above. Do you find that that's the age group that is normally curious about this, or is it much younger people?
Again, like Mama Gina had a very, very, all kinds of ages. And our students are all different ages. I think I would say usually past 36, maybe.
Yeah.
Because before that, the women are more like dealers rather than users, in the drug terminology. So, they'll sell you some stuff, but they're not really that interested in taking it themselves.
Yeah. And do women come on their own, or do they come with a partner, or is it a mix of people?
Yeah, again, I would say mostly we get women on their own,
Yeah.
but maybe 30% come with a partner. Sometimes they have a partner and then they'll come on their own and then bring the partner,
Yeah.
which is a good idea. And then they'll train the partner separately sometimes.
And how long does it take to learn?
It depends. Somebody could do it in one session. Other people take 20 sessions.
Yeah. And moving along, you've also mentioned on your website that through having your wife who had Alzheimer's, you started to think more about this whole aspect of people living with cognitive decline and people caring for people that have cognitive decline and being able to love and just, care for yourself. Do you want to expand a bit on that?
I will if I can. I would say that I was lucky that Vera was a happy camper. I mean, she was never angry. She was, she did whatever I asked her to do. Like I said, let's eat now or let's do this. She didn't argue with me at all.
Yeah.
She, like if I act like towards the end, like I'd ask her, and she's still walking around and still having orgasms. I'd say, "Would you like to get done when you want to get off?" And she would usually say no.
Yeah.
But if I said, if I kissed her first and hugged her and then said, "Okay, take your pants off now," she'd take her pants off. So you have to learn. Each person's is different in that way, and you also have to take care of yourself. So I would still self-pleasure if she wasn't interested.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's different for everybody, but I enjoy taking care of her.
Yeah.
I never had a kid of my own, and she came almost like my kid at the end. So it was fun having a kid, and she was like a sweet kid. So I was lucky.
That is lucky, because I have friends that are going through that with their parents at the moment, and sometimes it's incredibly difficult, and people can get very, very angry. And just as an aside, I'm waiting to find out if I've got some funding for a project which would be looking at how we manage people's sexual desires within social care settings. Because if you're not lucky enough to be living at home, it can be quite difficult to be able to still be a sexual person, which, many of us are up until the very end of our days, so.
Yeah.
And it sounds like she was, or certainly for quite a considerable period of time. And it sounds like it was completely consensual, because I think that's always a big problem around this.
Right. And also, I had the thought now. I think I lost it.
Yeah, I was just talking about sexual desire when you're dealing with somebody with cognitive decline, and how that.
Yeah, with your parent, it's going to be obviously a lot different.
Yeah, sure.
And also, and we were trained before that. She was so orgasmic, anyhow. So, because the earlier you start, or before you get the thing, this decline. I think it'll benefit you later on too.
Yeah.
Besides being good for your present mood.
Yeah. It's still got to be good for you, no matter, what your state of mind, as long as what you're doing is consensual.
Yeah.
How have you fared physically? Because obviously you're an older guy. Have you seen changes within your own body?
Well, I don't do it. I don't masturbate as often as I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I do it a few times a day.
Yeah.
Now I do once or twice a week, and that's enough.
Yeah.
There was when I have a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend actually after Vera passed away, who was 28 years younger than me.
Mm.
And so she had appetite for pleasure and pleasuring me. So I probably almost every day I was getting off. We lived in different coasts, so we didn't see each other that often. But when we spent a couple of weeks together, so I still can get it up.
That's good.
and get off really well.
Yeah.
And I don't have to ejaculate every time, and I'm still not sure if that's good or not to do, because I know tantric people say it's better not to ejaculate, and then I ask my urologist, I think he says it's better to ejaculate for your prostate. So I'm not sure which. So sometimes I do and sometimes I don't.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? Is that depending on, that's why I said I always enjoy these conversations, because I'll speak to one person and they'll be going, "No, I never ejaculate." And the other one will be going, No, it's good to do, urologists will say it's good to do this. And then Tantra people will say, we don't necessarily need to have orgasms. And then other people will be like, no, we need to have as many orgasms as you.
Right.
And everybody's got their own take on all of this stuff, right? And I don't think there's anything that's necessarily right or wrong. We know that pleasure in itself, sexual pleasure, is just generally scientifically, it's good for you. It does gives you all sorts of, feel good hormones. It does actually reduce the risk of cognitive decline. So,
Yeah.
that is one of the things it is meant to do, but obviously not for everybody.
Well, yeah, I think Vera had chemotherapy before that. I think that may have messed up her brain a little bit.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it's all really fascinating stuff. And I'm assuming that all of these books and videos and everything are still freely available if
Yeah,
somebody
all the
wants
books are
to
on
go.
Amazon. I got like 19 coming out with my 20th book
Wow.
next month. It's called The Authors. It's a novel. And you want to hear what the story's about?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. Is it
It's just like
sexy? Is it a sexy story?
it gets sexier and sexier. It's just one guy's kind of like me. He's a writer, and he's writing a story about this person who's also a writer, and this writer is writing a story about another writer. So there's like three levels of writers,
Yeah.
and the guy who's like me, he's not getting any sex. His wife just passed away,
Right.
and he doesn't. And the other guys are kind of horny, wanting to have sex with. One's married, and one's meets these women. He's wanting to have sex with them, but he's not letting them have sex. They can kiss and and hug and flirt, but he's not letting them have sex. And then finally, he meets a woman, a younger woman, and he starts getting sexy. So he lets them to have more sex. So towards the end of the book, everybody's having a lot of good sex. But the first like 2/3 of the book, like there's like almost having sex, but they're you know.
So it's a
So
tease. Big tease.
yeah.
Cool. Well, I am, as I said to you in this, prior to the start of this conversation, I am actually getting ready to go on my 2-month away. Yeah, I don't know if you want to call it a holiday, but it's just 2 months away in Thailand. And I'm leaving very shortly. So you were my last interview, and for 2026, 2025, going into 2026. So we will hear this in 2026. So happy New
All
Year
right.
to you.
Thank
And
you. Enjoy your stay. I have a lot of friends that go to Thailand.
oh,
So
do you? Well, if you know anyone going to Chiang Mai or Hua Hin, then send me a little message because I'd love to meet
okay.
some
I
cool
don't.
people.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they are now. Some people
Oh,
live there. Some people. I know
yeah,
one is place in Bangkok, I think, which doesn't sound so great. But
no.
Chiang Mai, I heard nice things about.
Yeah, I think it's lovely. Well, I'll soon find out.
That
Anyway,
show White Lotus, where does that take place? Do you know?
some little island somewhere,
Uh,
somewhere around there, though.
yeah.
But anyway, have a good one.
All right. It was fun talking with you. And you look happy, so I'm glad
I am happy.
yeah. Yeah, feel your pussy right now. Right?
Indeed. Bye.
All right, bye. Thank you.